Plunderer is set in a kingdom called Alcia, a world governed by count, which are numbers engraved on a person's body, representing numbers that are related to their life. These counts determine a person's value, price, status, and social power in Althea. If that number reaches 0, then they will be dragged into a dark abyss, a place that is believed to be worse than death. This is shown at the opening of the Plunderer anime through a farewell between a little girl and her mother who was dragged into the abyss because the number on her hand had reached 0. Before disappearing completely, the mother gave an artifact with the number 10,000 in it to her daughter and told her to find legendary Ace, a hero of the war that happened 300 years ago, who bears a white star next to their count. 5 years after her farewell to her mother, the girl is known as Hina, who started her journey as a traveler who traveled as far as 44,100 kilometers. She has made the effort to increase her count so that now she has the number 441 in her body. After walking quite far, Hina actually met a masked perverted idiot named Leto, who seemed to have an obsession with Hina's beautiful body. But Hina was able to escape thanks to the help of a tavern keeper named Nana, who has 77 points, indicating that Hina is more powerful with her higher score. Not long after that, Hina met a sergeant major who claimed to be a legendary ace who was marked with a star next to his count, inviting Hina to come with him to his base after knowing that Hina had been looking for legendary ace. There he intends to harass Hina in front of his troops, until in the end, Hina showed 10,000 orbs, which he identifies as ballot, and tries to take them by force from Hina by using his military rights, until he manages to get the points that Hina has earned for the past 5 years, leaving only just 1 point. By successfully seizing Hina's count, the person reveals he is not the ace, as the legend of the ace is 300 years old, meaning that ace has long been dead. Just as the situation was heating up, Leto came and saved Hina by showing count -999 in his right hand, making the sergeant major confused as to why someone with a minus count wasn't dragged into the abyss. As they duel, Leto reveals himself as Leto Bach, the real legendary ace, with a white star and 5,700 counts on his sword, based on the number of enemies he has defeated, while -999 is the number of women who have rejected him. After his identity was discovered, Leto launched consecutive attacks with just a stomp of his feet and managed to win the fight. After the fight ended, Leto not only returned 440 counts to Hina but also gave all the counts belonging to the major sergeants he had defeated, increasing Hina's number to 760. Strangely, after it was all over, Leto actually took Hina's ballot and exchanged it for a weird doll. That incident made Hina devastated because the ballot was the last relic from her mother, until she finally met Nana, and discovered the fact that Leto had inserted Hina's ballot into the doll, with the aim that Hina would not be hunted as a ballot holder again. With his identity as the legendary ace known, Leto leaves, and the number on his hand changes from -999 to -1000 after he leaves Hina. The army ignores Hina and starts looking for Leto, making him a fugitive who possesses ballot and is also a legendary ace. In his escape, Leto meets Master Sergeant Lin Mai and her subordinate, Sergeant Pele Poporo, in a peaceful and serene village. Due to Leto's suspicious appearance with his strange mask, they think that Leto is a ballot holder who has recently become a fugitive. Leto, whose disguise had been exposed by Lin, was continuously attacked with powerful kicks. But Leto actually enjoys this moment, because he can see the view of Lin's panties for free. After the fight ends, Leto teases Lin by confessing his feelings to Lin. Beyond expectations, Lin became the first person to sincerely accept Leto's feelings after 1,000 women rejected him. Thinking that Leto was going to kiss her, Lin closed her eyes and Leto actually took this opportunity to run away. On the other hand, Nana and Hina have decided to work together to find Leto's whereabouts. However, a lieutenant named Jael Murdoch comes to interrogate Nana about Leto. When Nana tries to lie and hide the facts, Murdoch destroys her food wagon and then sets out to hunt Leto, while Hina and Nana begin their journey with the same goal, to find Leto. Meanwhile, despite his escape from Lin, Leto appears again in the village, so Lin returns to chase him, creating a misunderstanding that leads the villagers to think that Leto and Lin are having a lover's quarrel. However, Leto sympathizes with Lin and Pele's efforts to protect the locals, making him help them and take off his mask. However, at that moment Leto swiftly saves Lin from being hurt when Murdoch and his troops attack her. Count Murdoch shows the number 900, along with his ballot, which allows him to create iron weapons, hence his nickname Iron Jail. Although Leto has the number 5,700, he is surprisingly overwhelmed by Murdoch, who ultimately reveals that he hid his real number from his superiors to avoid a promotion that would put him behind an office desk, instead of hunting down and catching criminals. Murdoch's real count was 12,500, twice the amount of Leto's counts. Murdoch quickly traps Leto into surrender before interrogating him. From their fight, Murdoch guessed that Leto was once a soldier based on his fighting style. Because of Leto's silence, Murdoch decides to torture him, but Lin surprisingly protects him and is hurt as a result. Murdoch, who was disgusted by Lin, began to berate her. Just as Lin is about to apologize, Leto stops her and immediately releases himself from his restraints, revealing that he has always been able to break Murdoch's iron, which is known as unbreakable. Then there was a big fight between the two ballot holders, which made the side of the cliff collapse. Lin, who was above him, then fell along with the rubble. Murdoch, who realized his mistake, tried to save Lin, but Leto caught Lin first because of his speed. Leto at that time actually taunted Lin until it made her angry, causing his count to decrease to -1001. After that, Leto threw Lin to Murdoch and then disappeared from that place. Murdoch realized that the village's safe situation at that time was due to Leto protecting the place. Realizing Leto was right and he was wrong, Murdoch recreates everything he destroyed using his iron, deciding to give Leto 3 days before he and his squad continue their hunt for Leto, also letting Lin join his squad. As a result, Murdoch's count was reduced to 12,499 for giving up his belief in capturing Leto. After the incident, Leto continues his journey with his new mask. Unexpectedly, Leto was actually reunited with Hina and Nana with her wagon. But when they were just about to enjoy their relaxing day, it seemed that a small plane that had lost control was about to fall into the abyss, making Leto spontaneously jump and save the pilot, who was a woman named Pelmo. Seeing Leto's ability to jump very high, which she thought was the ability to fly, Pelmo asks Lich and Hina to help her achieve her dream of being able to fly, even though it's a crime punishable by death. Pelmo says that living without dreams is tantamount to death, so she doesn't mind being punished if she can achieve her dream of flying. Pelmo's words made Leto willing to help by sharing a little of his knowledge to perfect the design of the flying vehicle. But when the design was completed and will be tested, suddenly Leto destroys the new airplane due to the arrival of military troops. Because there was no evidence of Pelmo's attempted flight, the military troops left and they thought that Pelmo was safe. Unfortunately, after seeing the destruction of her airplane, Pelmo's count reaches 0 and the abyss suddenly opens up and pulls her. Apparently, Pelmo's counts depended on every time her dreams were achieved, and her failed dreams would bring down her count. Even though Hina tries to help Pelmo, it's useless because the abyss fights back. Pelmo happily enters the abyss, convinced it is not death but the door to another world, and promises that they will meet again one day. This incident makes Leto almost faint as numbers flash in his left eye. After that incident, Leto intends to leave but changes her mind after Hina talks in her sleep, hoping Leto doesn't leave her again. Sometime later, Murdoch discovers that the lake next to the town has disappeared under an enormous abyss. An injured soldier told him that he saw a fire-breathing demon flying out of the abyss, making Murdoch think it was all the work of a ballot holder with fire abilities. By chance, Murdoch meets Lich in the next town and thinks that Leto knows something. Just as they were about to fight, suddenly the Lake of Abyss appeared, destroying most of the city and making a strange sound. Murdoch immediately evacuates all the citizens, while Leto recognizes the strange voice. Leto and Murdoch watch as the abyss opens, and the demon is revealed to be a modern helicopter armed with machine guns and missiles attacking all of them. Leto tells everyone to take cover, but Murdoch doesn't accept Leto's orders. Leto surprises Murdoch by showing that he has a military rank as colonel, forcing Murdoch to obey Leto's command despite his confusion about how a criminal can become a colonel. Leto is not only dealing with helicopters, but also with black hands that come out of the abyss named Althing. Even though fighting Althing was a violation, Murdoch, Lin, and even all the military forces came together against Althing to pave the way for Leto to reach the helicopter. But just as Leto almost made it to the helicopter, suddenly the helicopter is suddenly shot down by the homicidally insane ace of pursuit, Sanahara Mizuka, who has a count of 32,000. She starts killing everyone, revealing that she is obsessed with following the last order Leto gave her during the Waste War 300 years ago to kill everybody. Sanahara also reveals Leto's real name is Rihito, and she wants Leto to become a bloodthirsty figure like he used to be, or else she will kill the small children who are still alive around her. Leto snaps wear his mask and kill her men so fast that their bodies simply disappear. Leto finally reveals to everyone that he is a plunderer and he dreams of claiming everything in the country for himself. At that moment, a red aura erupts from Leto, increasing the count on his sword 10 times to 57,000, blowing everything including Sanahara, and returning her count to 16,000. At the same time, Sanahara regained consciousness. In this situation, Nana reveals that Leto has been taken over by an evil alternate personality named Schmelman, and it seems that someone has influenced Sanahara to turn Leto back into a killing machine. Before Leto with his Schmelman personality finishes off Sanahara, Murdoch stops him by unleashing his full power with a count of 45,000. With his Iron Warrior, Murdoch manages to knock Schmelman unconscious, turning him back into Leto. After that incident, Murdoch intends to arrest Leto after all his secrets are known by Supreme Commander Alexandrov Grigorovich, who is also Murdoch's adoptive father. But before Murdoch can catch Leto, Nana stops him and reveals that she is an ace. With unknown powers, Nana sends Murdoch along with Hina, Lin, and Pele to modern Japan, in hopes that they can change the past where she had failed. Arriving there, Murdoch realizes that his ballot has disappeared and he is no longer in control of Iron, as in this world there is still no ballot, Count, Abyss, and Althea. In addition, Murdoch also met Sanahara and Leto, who is currently known as Rihito, as teenagers in high school. Murdoch believes that Rihito is clearly a young Leto, yet looks nothing like his future self at all. All school students at that time were forced to take military service under the direct command of Captain Allen, Lieutenant Ferenda, and Major Schmelman Bach, the headmaster. Murdoch and the others received training as freshmen, and they are quite close to the other students like Sakai Tokakaze and Sanahara Mizuka. In order for them to pass, each student will be given 2 stars and must collect 10 stars by any means such as performing tasks or stealing from the others, which is the basis for the start of the star stake at the beginning of the story. Murdoch starts to think that Nana sent them to the past not only to help Leto but also to find out the true origin of everything and save their future society. Then, Don the delinquent start to break into people's lockers and steals their stars, including those of Sakai and Sanahara. When Murdoch tries to help, it turns out that Leto has secretly stolen Don's stars, returning the stars to everyone. After that incident, Murdoch secretly follows Schmelman to a hidden facility and learns that they are trying to replicate Allthing's voting power since Allthing got rid of nuclear weapons, but not war itself, while other countries are already preparing to start a new war. When Murdoch was almost caught, he was saved by a woman with time-traveling abilities who turned out to be a young Nana, the very first ace called Ace of Knowing. Nana explained that humans like Schmelman can genetically harmonize with everything to gain powers. Therefore, an operation was carried out to implant Schmelman's DNA into normal children to give them his genetic abilities, in which only Nana survived the experiment, and eventually Leto, Sanahara, and 4 other children, making 7 aces in total. But when Murdoch promises to meet Nana again in the next 300 years and tries to escape, he is intercepted by Alan, who intends to kill him. From up close, Murdoch finally realizes that Alan is a young Alexandrov Grigorovich, his future adoptive father, while Alan himself realizes that Nana has been trying to change the future, so he just lets Murdoch escape. From this meeting, Murdoch and the others realized that they had to let Rihito become Leto and win the Waste War, because their home country, Althea, would never exist if Leto didn't win the war. For some time, Murdoch practiced hand-to-hand combat with Alan, while Schmelman taught him how to fight, including how to use medieval weaponry. From this training, Rihito or Leto was believed to have the highest potential, so Schmelman finally started the ACE project by making Rihito his subject. Murdoch, who doesn't want to lose Althea, decides to stop anyone who tries to mess up Rihito's surgery. Don stole Sanahara's remaining star, so getting her expelled will save her from the war. Lin admits that she loves Leto, and so does Hina, who has decided to let Rihito be Leto but will stop him from killing so that later the Schmelman personality will not develop inside Leto. Shortly thereafter, a foreign country suddenly attacks the academy, massacring many students who risked themselves for the continued operation of Rihito. It was in this operation that turned Rihito's black hair white, transforming him into the figure of Leto and receiving his trademark sword from Schmelman. With his new power, Leto starts slaughtering soldiers with super speed, earning his name Ace of Flashing Strikes. Leto can't help but kill someone to save his friends, causing him to break his promise not to kill. After that incident, Murdoch, Lin, Pele, and Hina were slowly pulled back to their own time. Before completely pulled back, Hina realizes that she can't stop Rihito from becoming Leto, but instead she will love Leto completely. Thus, she strips naked and swears that she will be waiting for Leto in 300 years to marry him and carry his children so he will never be lonely again. The Waste War begins. Rihito, who has now become Leto, joins the war alone so his friends don't have to kill anyone, and starts slaughtering thousands of enemies while hiding his face behind a mask. Besides Leto, 4 of his classmates have also received ace surgery, which includes Sakai, Don, Sanahara, and Captain Allen. 2 years later, victory has been achieved after Schmelman collected 7 ballots and used them to create Althea that floated above the ruined planet. Schmelman destroyed all means of contacting the surface world and created a population of Althea from the DNA of all races and kept the population under control by sending anyone with a count of 0 to the abyss, which was actually a portal to the planet's surface. It is also revealed that all things supported Althea by continuously stealing resources from the surface, leading Sakai to steal a ballot, and Leto to kill him on Schmelman's orders. This is what makes Leto and Nana ultimately defect to Althea. For 300 years, Leto never took off his mask at all, and very rarely spoke even to Nana, until he finally met Hina, explaining why Leto had an obsession with Hina in his first appearance. When they return to the future, Hina confronts Leto and offers him to continue what they didn't do 300 years ago. Surprisingly, Leto rejects Hina, revealing that he knows Hina's mother, Tsukina Pharaoh, who turned out to be his childhood friend who somehow survived 300 years without the ace surgery and stole 10,000 ballots from Schmelman 5 years ago. The reason Leto can't accept Hina is that he killed Sakai, who turns out to be Tsukina's husband and Hina's father. After that, Leto puts sleeping drugs on the wine and intends to defeat the special forces alone, which is known to have started their movement by killing several of Althea's higher-ups. Not long after Leto left, he was held by an ace with the power of gravity, who was none other than Don. Leto is easily defeated by Don, while the Special Services Unit under Schmelman's orders captures Hina, Lin, and Pele to make them ace by forcibly injecting drugs into them. Even though Don is under Schmelman's command, he refuses to do so and decides to let them all go, until he finally discovers that Hina has 10,000 ballots, changing his mind to kill them all. Hina believes that Leto will come to their aid, making Don give a choice where he will release them if Leto comes before morning, and vice versa, he will kill them all if Leto does not come. When Leto arrives, he asks Don some time before killing him and uses this time to express his feelings for Hina, even though he basically thinks he shouldn't fall in love with the child of the person he killed. However, Hina accepts Leto's feelings and kisses him, promising that she will stay with Leto no matter what. Leto confronts Don and apologizes for breaking the promise they made 300 years ago, and is currently trying to destroy Althea they fought to create. In this situation, Dark Sanahara then appears and shoots Leto, before Murdoch finally arrives at the right time to help Leto. While Murdoch tries to revive Sanahara, Leto fights Don. The difference in understanding drives them to kill each other and exert their full strength, which in the end makes Don succeed in locking Leto into a black hole, a dimensional space that even light can't escape. In the room, Leto laments various regrets as the legendary ace which pushed him to become a killing machine without a conscience. However, remembering his promise to Hina that he still hasn't kept, his spirit to stay alive doesn't end there. Leto manages to escape Don's abilities and knocks him unconscious. Despite being defeated and resuscitated, Don decides not to follow anyone anymore and wants to live a free life. Prior to his departure, Don returned Hina's 10,000 ballots and provided information that the current commander-in-chief had 3 original ballots, while the remaining 3 were owned by Schmelman. Some time has passed, and Lin has recovered from the injuries she suffered. Murdoch and Nana manage to build a bond that is more than just friends. Leto actually has known for a long time that Pele is a member of the Special Services Unit but doesn't see him as a threat because Pele can't do anything bad because of his strong feelings for Lin. Meanwhile, Hina and Leto's relationship became closer, because Hina had even planned to have a baby with Leto right then and there. Unfortunately, her seduction was interrupted by Murdoch, who wanted to discuss their plans going forward. Leto has decided that he will collect all 7 ballots and not destroy Althea, but try to find a way for humanity to survive without Althing. This of course will not be easy to do, but Leto believes that if you fight with friends and loved ones, there are many possibilities that can happen. While elsewhere, Schmelman had prepared warriors and other superpowers. In addition, at a glance, several unseen figures which are predicted to be Leto's classmates from 300 years ago appear.